Every industry has its unique challenges. However, with more challenges comes huge responsibilities. As a key stakeholder in the Nigerian advertising industry, today's guest, through his works, have left a huge impact in this industry. As the provost of one of Nigeria's leading and African's brand and advertising school, O2 Academy, and the first African school aside South Africa to win the Laureus Award, Ozone, as it's fondly called, serves as an oxygen to the Nigerian advertising ecosystem. 7 out of 10 millennials in the advertising agency is a graduate of the Oxygen Academy. Many have gone along to lead various e-league brands and leaving their footprints on the map of Africa's as enemies of the ordinaries. Let's meet our guest, Ozone Mbanefo. Hi everyone, welcome to the Breaking the Coconut Show. My name is Charles Umeh. This show is very interesting because I have an interesting guest. So, when you have the king of ads come around you become very careful of how you introduce them. So I'll let my guest introduce himself.
Okay, my name is Ozone Mbanefo. I'm the founder of 02 Academy Lagos.
Also known as O2 Academy Lagos. Welcome, Mr. Mbanefo, to the Breaking the Coconut Show. Firstly, congrats on everything you've been doing with young people, with your own niche, and making impact. Kudos to all you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Looking at what you stand for and the niche you've carved in the advertising stage, how have you been able to firstly handle this generation of young people? I told someone that it's unfair for you to take someone from nowhere and in 6 months you make the person somebody in code. So most of us that spend 4-5 years in university wasted our own time. How unfair has it been for you to take 6 months out of people's life and give them something completely different and give them a new life?
Wow. I don't know where to start, but I'll tell you one very powerful tool that has always worked for us, and is a principle that works for anybody that applies it. Is the power of visualization. For any time I meet a young person, I don't look at the person based on the now. I look at the person based on who that person could actually become. And so when people show up at Oxygen, Oxygen do not see them for where they are now. We see them for where they can become. And we know that we are that bridge, that enabler that will help them become who they are designed to be. And so our motivation comes from who they can become, not who they are. And that's why we will go ahead to, train a security personnel from an agency called Insight Communications. And after 3 months, we'll turn the guy to an art director. And of course, the agency that employed him as a security guard, now seeing the ability that Oxygen has infused in the guy, employed him as an art director, and his salary moved from 18,000 to 120,000. The power of visualization. When that guy showed up, we did not see a security personnel. We see an art director in the making. And all we did was just to bridge that gap through capacity building. And we've done it across.
Statistics says that in every ad agency in Nigeria, we have an average of at least one O2 alumni. For instance, that's an open stat. Now, How have you been able to make this work? looking at the time you started this, okay, maybe I'll let you start that journey. When did you start your journey?
Okay, it started way back in 2000. Um, Most people think that O2 Academy started in 2007. No, it started in 2000. I was posted to an advertising agency as a core member. And of course, in the art studio, none of the guys in the studio allowed me to touch the computer. They only relegated me to, running errands, buying food, washing cars, and sometimes, of course, because I'm good with drawing, so they only give me the drawing work to do. And for me, I know that I can do more than drawing. How can I take this thing to the digital? How can I design on a computer? And I know that the reason why they are sending me on errands is simply because they can work on a computer and I cannot. So I started looking for ways to help myself. And I could still remember that very day that I had to cry at the convenience. I entered the toilet and I started weeping and praying to God. I said, God, if you can help me learn how to use the computer, I'm going to teach this thing free of charge to any young person that come my way. And after that prayer and that day I cried, an idea hit my head. And guess what? I decided to start going to, a business center. Then there is the Yahoo boys, all night browsing. I go to that business center, the all night browsing, not to do Yahoo, but to learn how to use CorelDRAW. And of course, I learned it from the Yahoo boys who were using the CorelDRAW to do forgery and stuff. But I wasn't there to do forgery. I was there to help see how I can forge my life forward. So of course, and I found out that when you find a way, when you're hungry for something, God also sends you helpers. So it wasn't long after I learned how to use CorelDRAW, God sent two guys, as new staff, to the agency. And that's Ndoka Kade and Fome Ozuo. Those two guys taught me how to use Photoshop. And way back then, very few people can use Photoshop and CorelDRAW. The ones that know how to use it, they hoard it like gold mine. So these guys taught me, and I went ahead to do jobs for Limca, for Eva Watam, and Calypso Coconut Liquor, and that gave me strong talkability at the agency. And my MD got me a new computer, and that was how I stopped running errands. I stopped buying food.
Your skills set you free.
Exactly, and that is the power of knowledge. And guess what? It wasn't long. I moved from that agency to Insight Communications, to DDB, to TBW, and that's how I started climbing. So fast track to 2007, while I was at Base Coast, I remember that I made a promise to God in the toilet at that particular, agency, and I had to start the training in my 2-bedroom apartment, free of charge. And today, O2 Academy is reckoned as a top leadership in the brand communication world.
Now, going forward, you've churned out young people. You've churned out the same young people that we complain are unemployable. You've churned out the same young people that we feel is the biggest problem we have. How have you been able to manage this millennial and Generation Z who are under your own nest? What's the best way to handle them in the workplace presently?
Wow. I'll tell you something that I always tell a lot of employers. Everybody who works for anyone is simply thinking something in their mind. It has happened to me. I was once working for someone. There's always a thought process that goes through their mind, and that is, when will I run my own thing? When will I stop working for this man, this woman? And so, taking a peep into their mind and their thinking process, their thought process, I made a decision to make them own the business, not work for me. And how do you make them own the business? Is appreciation. I tell people, you can't talk people down and expect them to live up to your expectation. You only get people to live up to your expectation if you talk them up. For example, a guy shows up late at work. I will not tell you that you are the most stupid person. Why will you come late? Why blah, 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 which is what an average entrepreneur do out there, And sometimes you do that in front of other people. I mean, if you will talk to a senior manager in front of his subordinates, how do you expect his subordinates to respect that senior manager? So what do? I simply talk people up and do what I call sandwiching. So I sandwich your mistake, your wrong, because the truth is anybody who did something wrong already knew they've done wrong. The person who is down knows he's down. The person who is late knows he's late. So how do you get that person not to do it again? Is by talking them up. How? I could actually just tell you, Ben, I know who you are. I know you are a great guy. And I know you could actually become the best staff in this company. You coming late today is not in the content of your character. I know you could actually wake up early and get to work early. And trust me, should I be honest with you? This should be the last time you do this. Because at some point you have to be firm. Sure. You need to tell the person the truth. But always close it with reminding the guy that you love him. People want to go where they will be celebrated, not where they will be tolerated. You find a way to get these people to know that they are the engine of this company. If when they feel that they are not useful, when they feel they are not performing, the truth is that thing about it seems I'm not useful, that worthless feeling, that sense of meaning, they begin to lose it. And when they lose it, they will think they will get something from another person, from another place that will fill that vacuum. People just want to be appreciated. So I appreciate my team. I make them understand that they are the ones running the academy. Today, I have about 11 of them. They are all millennials, and I've not lost one for the past 4 years, except the ones that underperform, that I let go, because I will not tolerate incompetency, because it will help us do one thing: become incompetent across board.
Looking at the complaint that young people are unemployable, what's your own take on it?
Yeah, for me, it comes from both sides. It comes from the young people, and it comes from the people who employ them.
Do we think it's as a result of they not meeting the right people to tutor them, or is it that they are completely unemployable? Because when we throw that stat,
No, let me be very honest with you. The issue is not unemployment, is unemployability,
okay,
right? And the reason why I said it comes from both sides, the unemployed and the employers, because I've seen places, situations where we equip these people. They get to the office, and the way they are being treated is nothing to write home about. And you still find them, getting more and more frustrated. But I also get across to young people to remind them that the client is always right, your boss is always right. So you just have to find a way, to manage your boss. And one of the keys, which I always share with my students, is you will never, ever win the fight with your boss. In fact, the day you win that fight is the day you lost your job. And for all you care, it might not be that same day they give you the sack letter, but you're on your way out. Exactly, because you win to lose. And so managing a difficult boss is actually a course on its own I take my students on. And one of the tools, one of the key principles from managing a difficult boss is, one, you have to understand that your boss will always have something wrong about you. He will always think something you are not getting right. And so how to get your boss to see it from that angle that you've always wanted it to see it is simple. One, you have to be patient with your boss. Two, you have to like your boss. In fact, that's the one that I hit on most of the times. You don't necessarily have to like him to be able to like him. You decide to like your boss. And you swallow your pride. Yeah, because when you feel you are right, and the truth is that you are right, and you want to really maintain that fact that you are right, you are wrong. So when the boss is talking, you keep your mouth shut. When the boss says you've gotten it wrong, apologize. And guess what? It doesn't take anything away from you. And so, for managing a difficult boss has got a lot of ingredients that helps you, get the person's buy-in. And another thing is improve on your work. Because no boss will naturally, some people say, that man just hates me. He doesn't hate you. He is not happy with what you do. And most of the times, it's not about you, it's about the job, it's about the incompetency. So you improve on your game. That's the time I was working with an advertising agency, 141 worldwide. I was always thinking that my boss was just, completely against me and everything. And I remember then, I'll be praying in my heart, the fire, God, deal with him and everything. And one day God told me that you are the one that needs to be dealt with, that you need to love your boss. And that was the day I had the peace of the Lord that passes all understanding. And first of all, I started loving my boss. I started praying good prayers for him. And guess what? Somehow the whole thing started changing in my mind. I found out that I was actually the one wrong. Because the moment you see a person hating you, whether you like it or not, that person starts hating you. And so it starts with your mindset. It starts with you loving that person, deciding that my boss is a good man. My boss does not hate me. You start acting right based on your mindset is right. There is a whole lot. I don't want to start a lecture here.
Okay, because of time, what's your philosophy for life? What's your philosophy you think young people could always imbibe in and run their life with?
Well, I think I hammer a lot on capacity building, not because I run a school, but because you can not function beyond what you know. Yeah. and all you know is not all that there is to know. I'm still a student. I enter classes where even the instructors that I trained, resident instructors that has passed through the academy, I sit in their class. Because when they say knowledge is power, knowledge makes you a god. Because there's so much you can solve if you know how to get it done. So my philosophy of life is simple. Be a student of life. Invest in knowledge. That's now why I know why God, talks about gain wisdom, gain understanding. And the richest man on earth is Solomon. The wisest man is the richest man. So it's all about knowledge. And there's so much that we can still find out how to do when we invest in this mind, because the mind is elastic. I mean, tell me how a young woman who walked into O2 Academy and tells me that she wants to unseat her boss. And of course, that's our objective for enrolling. And I said, for real? She said, yes. And we went on to get her trained. And on graduation, she did a market penetration strategy, 360 degrees campaign strategy that will eat into competition by 35%. And guess what? That will gain them 40% market share. She shared it with her MD. Her MD loved it so much that she got her to present it to the board. After the presentation, 2 months after, they fired her boss, made her the marketing director, bought her a brand new car, and she's heading 3 regions now. The power of knowledge. The more you know, the more you learn. And I think that's about that.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ozone Mbanefo. It was nice having you on the set on the BTC show. So, a parting word from us. We love what you're doing with your academy. We love the impact. We love the light you shine. We love the coconut you're breaking. Keep doing what you're doing. While we'll give you the simple test of breaking the coconut.
Wow.
And we'll see how long it will take you.
Good.
Still breaking the coconut in your own dialect.
Oh my God. Okay.
No, this is not hard work. This is
I'm coming now. I have to be stylish about it. Ekwa Akoyibo. Ekwa Akoyibo.
So meaning
breaking the coconut in my language is Ekwa Akoyibo.
What language is that?
And that is Igbo language.
Okay, you're an Igbo man.
Yes, I'm an Igbo man.
And as an Igbo man, congratulations. And I'll take the first task of breaking the coconut.
Of breaking the coconut. Okay. Must it be once?
It depends. Let's see how some people do it once. You might do it 10 times.
I break the coconut.
So this is from us. This is your gift. You can keep it. Keep it.
Thank you.
Use it. Share it with your students.
I'm not going to share it. I'm going to keep it.
Wow. So have a gift for you.
This is amazing. Wow, am I this smooth? That's cool. That's very cool.
Sometimes the real picture.
That's very cool. Great job, man. Great job. Nice one. Wow. Did you see that?